Greetings. I'm out here in my sweet spot this morning with my sweet corn, which is almost ripe. That makes me very happy. Despite many bad things that are occurring around the islands these days, ripening sweet corn is a-okay with me. A wonderful thing for all of us. I just had the neighbor next door here call me up. She's going to go start digging sweet potatoes tomorrow out of the yard, and they're going to take them down there to Puna because they need donations for the people who've been displaced. Sweet potatoes sound like a real good thing to do for them. I'm going to keep my sweet corn, though, because I don't have enough of it to share. Don't tell anybody. So, it's not been real different here as far as the lava eruption's concerned. Followed by the garden report. Now we have the lava report. I'm staying away. I'm trying not to get in anybody's way. I would like to really catch some of this action closer up, but they don't need my help, and so I'm doing this mostly from a distance. We've had a few interesting developments. The lava flow that ran into Greg's farm off 132 is now heading towards Four Corners, which is a major intersection out at the coast, and if and when it happens, it's going to cut off a lot. And so that's not a good thing. They're working on bulldozing the old road out of Kalapana going into the bottom of the Hawaiian Volcanoes National Park. That had been inundated by lava several times since the 1980s. And after they cleared it last time, we had another flow when there was lava going into Pahoa that closed about a half mile of it. They brought in some heck of big equipment, and they're trying to get the lava off so they have one emergency way out so people don't get trapped down there. The county and Mayor Kim have also, kind of announced what I would call martial law with aloha, because some of the people are just hanging in. They don't want to leave, even though the lava's coming. And while that's endangering the first responders and the National Guard, because when they get trapped in there, someone's going to go in and try to save them at, endangering their life and limb for no good reason, because you can't stop a lava flow when it comes at you, so you may as well leave. But they're worried about people hanging in, and so martial law with aloha means that here they won't shoot you because you're there, but they will arrest you. And so there's a threat of arrest if you don't leave your homes now before you get trapped. And hopefully that's going to work. And just the threat of being taken to jail because you don't leave is enough. Because, believe me, the first responders do not need you staying in there watching your home as the lava comes at it to burn you up. Some interesting news, which is really news of the weird. I'm sure many of you may have seen some of the videos I've done of car wrecks on the road here where the drunks pack into the rock walls down at the turn near my house. Well, apparently it happened out on 132 in the flows the other day. Got a guy who was probably intoxicated. I don't know that, but it seems so. Others are suspecting. Who was trying to get in to see the flow, even though everybody had locked him out and said, nope, you're not going in there, it's dangerous. Well, he found a way to sneak through on some back roads, and he got himself into a prohibited area of 132 and started driving. Apparently, it must have been after dark because the guy plowed right into the lava flow that was crossing Highway 132. That's a good one. Now, it would have been even more interesting and tragic had the lava flow still been hot. It wasn't. It had cooled enough that it was a solid mass, and so, as they put it, the damage to his face and the vehicle was conventional, meaning it bent to heck, scratched up. Guys in the Hilo hospital, I guess, from hitting the dashboard. Probably anybody that sneaks into an active lava flow area and then drives into the flow, I don't think he had his seatbelt on. Oh, I mean, crazy, you know. It's just like I'm driving into the rock walls down here. So I was pretty nuts. Personally, I find it funny myself. You know, he didn't have to do that. Anywho, past that, we are still seeing the nighttime eruptions from the house. Not quite as exciting as they were the other night, but they're still great big fountains of lava coming up out of fissure number 8 has become the major one, which is really dead center there in Leilani Estates. It seems to be creating huge lava lakes, and Lord knows, maybe a pu'u. Pu'u. So you can take a look here. It's and then otherwise during the day we could still see the smoke coming up out of the fissures, and I'm not sure whether it caught in the camera, but it was definitely visible with the naked eye that the smoke coming up from the fissure actually had an orange glow of lava ejecting below it, which is something we can't usually see at this distance during the daytime, so that was kind of special. Here's an image of that. My goodness, look at that. Otherwise, trying to stay out of everybody's way, because it's a complete catastrophe in Lower Puna, Ellen and I decided that we were going to take the car and drive up the mountain towards the national park. Well, the national park, there's no disaster going on there, but they still will not let you go into the park, and you cannot stop along the highway there for a significant distance going through the park. All entrances and exits are blocked off, with the exception of going into the town of Volcano and up to the winery and the golf course. The only places open. I was surprised to find that around the town of Volcano, the sulfur in the air was obnoxious. I actually had to put on my M95 face mask while driving through there, otherwise my lungs and nose started to burn. It's pretty bad right in town from sulfur for some reason. I don't really know exactly how that's happening for them, because as we started driving from Volcano, heading downhill into Kau District just a bit, all of a sudden we got hit with an ash fall. And it looks a little bit like light snow on the road here. You can see some of the images of us driving through it. Well, here we are on top of the volcano. We're driving through the national park. They won't let us stop anywhere. Everything's cordoned off. But you see this white junk all over the road? This junk is the ash from Hilo Mau. Looks like snow almost. It's everywhere, and there's dust in the air from it too. Oh, would you mind turning the vent so it's not coming in, please? Thank you. I'm going to turn around and get out of here real fast, because I haven't got my car set up to breathe this stuff, and it's going to start tearing the engine up if I'm not careful. Well, actually, the air even over here is a whole lot better, so I guess we're just in a really bad spot right there, because the ash was falling on the road, and the air was horrible. I can tell you right off, the air has improved dramatically where we're at right now. Yeah. It's much, much better. And it's not bothering me anymore. Yeah, and there's no more ash either, though. The ash went somewhere else. Here, dead ahead, you can see the shoulders of the road turning gray. We've driven around up here a bit, and I haven't seen too much ash fall. It's very local to the caldera where the ash fell. I had heard in the news that the eruptions at Hilo Mau have been much, much smaller. They're not hitting like 10 and 15,000 feet anymore. So I guess this ash on the road must have ejected like in the last 24 hours. Because we're right next to the caldera here. I guess it just popped up that far. Man, look at that stuff. It's it hasn't been here long because there's been rain and there's been cars, and so it must be pretty fresh stuff since it's still here looking like snow on the road. It's lifting up in the air and you don't want to breathe it. Oh man, I wouldn't want to be doing that today. Motorcycles, huh? Wow. Yeah, you just see the stuff floating in the air. I have a mask in the car, but unfortunately I'm driving and you're not supposed to stop, so I guess I won't be putting it on. It appeared that the ashfall was extremely localized and really quite close to the caldera, because as we continued heading west into the Cow Desert, there was no more ash on the road. And in fact, the air cleared out much nicer. It was much better than Volcano. And we were actually a little bit closer to the caldera, I think. But the airflow was creating breathable air in the region and almost no ash. Geologists have been saying that the eruptions at Hilo have been lower, smaller magnitude. They're not as big. They were getting up like 10 and 15,000 feet in the air. These things aren't doing it anymore, and so they're more apparently dropping locally. And that's how it ended up on the highway where we were at. I think we were probably only about 2 miles from the caldera when I hit that ashfall. And we can see out over the landscape as I look through the Cow Desert places that have been dusted gray from the ashfall. But in general, it wasn't as bad heading west as I thought it was going to be. Now, I've seen images of Pahala and Naalehu, which are further west, where they had quite a bit of ash. So some of these eruptions have really swept that stuff and carried it further away. But lately, it looks like it's kind of dropping in the park, which is a good thing, I guess. And I am personally, again, affected because I can't go into my favorite national park anymore, and I'm hoping one of these days that we're going to be able to do that, that Hilo will settle down enough that we can at least open the park up. That would be nice, because I tend to frequent it. I go there all the time and enjoy it. I always bring visitors up to the park. It is the most popular tourist destination in the entire state of Hawaii, right up the road here. But not so popular right now. Also, I was shopping in Hilo, and perhaps it's because it was Friday and it was the first of the month, so maybe people had paychecks. But I was over at Target, and Target was busy. Target was busy. It was good to see, because my last trip, it was so quiet. Oh, deadly quiet in town. But I guess everybody was waiting for payday. Anyway, aloha. There's the Garden and Lava Report from Bill Merrill in Upper Puna. Y'all enjoy. Thanks for watching.